Welcome back to the Hurricane H Show. Today's guest is Benjamin Bressington, or Ben Bressington, founder of Bear Remedy, former Fortune 1000 consultant, and a leading voice in natural wellness through medicinal mushrooms. After facing burnout himself, Ben shifted from corporate strategy to helping people reclaim their energy, focus, and health, focus and health using science-backed, nature-based solutions. Ben, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, I'm excited to be here.
Well, listen, this is going to be a fun show. I mean, anytime we have a discussion about mushrooms and medicine, it gets exciting. People want to know more. It is a I guess a good thing that's existed for, I would say, centuries as a tool in the medicinal closet. I would call it that way, and it does help. But a lot of people may not understand it well enough. And I think you took a whole career change, and kind of went into this world. And so today, let's talk about that journey. I mean, how did you really go from working in the corporate business and all the stuff, and then kind of like went into this world here?
Yeah, well, I was in the corporate world, the AI world, marketing, consulting, running an agency, all that type of exciting stuff, which most people are doing. But then there's a huge element of burnout, right? And there's that I was paying the caffeine debt, I call it, because I was fueling myself on caffeine, not realizing the impact of that. Like at one point, I was drinking 8 Monster Energy drinks a day, as well as espresso shots, right? But like for a lot of people in the world of IT, in the world of marketing consulting, that's normal. That's not outrageous, right? And then that causes a debt on the body. And there's when you deal with a lot of burnout and frequent burnout because of that fueling system, which is not natural. Because I think at one point I was probably burning myself out just because of working long hours, doing all the side hustles, running the multiple businesses, doing all that stuff. And then just realized I had to do something. I had to really reset. Um, that's when some friends connected me to the world of mushrooms. I'm like, yeah, this stuff is smoke and mirrors and snake oil. Like, what the hell is with this stuff, right? Like, just like everybody else. And then after trying it, I was just like, damn, like there is something to this. And then that kind of sent me on the quest of, like most people, trying every mushroom coffee under the sun, being disappointed, getting frustrated. I'm like I had a promise of this thing. How do I make this work again? And that's when I said, all right, I'm just going to create something that is the best possible solution. And other people loved it. And now it's just kind of growing a life of itself. So a natural evolution because of burnout, emotional burnout, the frustration of the hustle culture, to be honest.
So Ben, it is amazing because what you described is 99% of us out in the real world. I mean, burnout is real. I mean, we've had few shows about it, and it's I don't think there's someone that's really safe in this world out of burnout. I mean, we try to fix it somehow. We find different ways to do it and kind of make it happen. I mean, I guess especially in the corporate world or business world in general. I mean, even life as a whole. But more or less, when you're in any capacity in the world of corporate or just business, there's an intense, stressful environment that you have to maintain, and there's a pace that you have to keep. And by the way, it could be in a high tense, environment like in the big cities, or it could be even for small cities. It doesn't matter. Business usually is business. Corporations want results and profit, and there's a push. And depends on your role as well. That can be intense. You talked about marketing. You talked about you know uh, working in in the corporations and stuff like that. So that stuff is really heavy duty. And listen, I've spent 30 plus years in there, and I can tell you, burnout is real. I've been there, done that, and you have to find ways around it. And you've complemented all that, by you wanted to maintain and coffee, and I guess the Red Bulls and the Monsters and all the all the brands that give you energy boosts, to keep you going. It's like you just kind of keep plugging in, and but eventually there's a toll to pay when you have that kind of lifestyle, and eventually, I mean, the bodies they only can do so much. I guess that's what happened. You had a health crash, right?
Yeah.
And so can you guide us through that health question? Because someone listening right now could be going exactly through the same thing, and not, and a lot of people challenge this idea, like, well, coffee's not gonna do anything for me. I've been doing it for years. Monster is cool. Like I can handle it. I mean, Red Bull is beautiful. It just keeps me going. Nothing wrong with it.
Or it's whatever flair of energy drink that is existing, like the flavor of the month, right? There's always something. If it's not Red Bull, it's Monster or these new
I
ones. And
know.
and now there's the research coming out from those that are like saying the heart issues, the artery issues, things like this because of the impact they're having. And it's coming directly from nurses who have this on their shifts to push through. Like it's amazing the impact of that. And we don't realize the for that rapid influx of energy we want now, the debt we're incurring on our body. And most people, like, I didn't really understand what the hell goes into some of this stuff. And more importantly, how companies can compromise it. And you don't even realize, you think organic means it's clean and fresh. It really doesn't mean much anymore. Like, it's just a gimmicky label in a lot of cases. And organic doesn't mean it's pesticide or chemical free. It really doesn't. And like cutting, there's in the energy space, you can cut things with caffeine and sugar. That's why a lot of things have caffeine or they've got a crazy amount of sugar, but there's like 100 different ways to label sugar. But like, I wasn't even aware of that. Like, and it's only when you really start going, hey, how do I create something that's compromise free? So all power, fully potent, right? It was a different mission because I'm like, I want to have this, but I don't want to be having it and incurring the debt. I literally want my body to be able to process it as raw and as naturally as possible. I learned a ridiculous amount in this industry. And there are so many ways companies can compromise products, but in a way that's actually acceptable.
Well, Ben, it's amazing you stating that because the reality, and you said it. I mean, what is organic? You're right. I mean, we all look for organic stuff, on the label, and it's pricier, but sometimes it makes you feel better. But really, at the end of the day, a lot of these labels are just what is the minimum requirement to proceed with an FDA approval, and when you meet those minimum requirements, and that's all there is. So it could be still, as you point, like the cuts and all the stuff and some other things that are in there. To your point, there are over 200, I think, names for sugar. So it could be something totally different that is still a sugar, concept, and it's there. And you're right. Some of these beverages, they do have quite a bit of listing of ingredients that most of us, I mean, I can't even pronounce half of them personally, but by the way, I have this discussion with my son all the time. He's still young. He's in the gym mode, and he's addicted to those things. That's the other thing. There's an addiction factor to these things,
Oh yeah.
and it's
But they
beyond the
design,
caffeine.
but you design that. Like that is chemically designed. When I'm sitting with my lab engineers, it's like, well, how addictive do we want to make this? How much of a craving index do we want to create for this? It's the same, it's no different to how fast food is designed. To the grill marks you can put on burgers and burger patties and chicken, for example. Like these things get designed to manipulate you and have you satisfy and create cravings that may not exist. And a lot of people miss this or don't they take this for granted, right? Like, and it's just like, okay, this guy's talking crazy stuff, but I'm like, well, hold on. When you start to think about the health and the health impact and all the research and data that's coming out in the medical world right now about, hey, how our food we've been eating and we told about the food pyramid, right? Like, and then they are saying, well, yeah, that food pyramid like was never designed for you to really consume the way you were. And yet, like all the health practitioners and doctors were like, yeah, the food pyramid is what's going to make you healthy and fit. But that's not the case. Like, so what I find fascinating is what we'll put in the products here in the US versus what you put in internationally in the Europe version is totally different. Like they don't allow the glycerin products. They don't allow the fuel-based derivatives. Like some products are no different to you drinking petrol. Like, and this is what is shocking. And like you're seeing a lot of people use the pouches. They're putting in their teeth and all this type of stuff, but the gum disease and the gum infection and all this type of stuff, because like, yes, like there is ways to use these products, but the way in which we take it to the extreme is the problem. And in the world of mushrooms, there's a really good example, if you want me to share.
Sure.
Um, A lot of mushrooms are actually highly beneficial at a micro dose, not a macro dose. Where in the US, you want to supersize everything. And then what happens is mushrooms will get a bad name is because, oh, I took these mushrooms and they didn't work. Yeah, but you're meant to take 1/10 of the dose you took. So, like, there is a massive difference. And I know from my personal dealings with anxiety and ADHD and things like that, and depression, that entrepreneurial hustle depression that would kind of have you on the couch, just depressed, out of your wits. How mushrooms made a massive difference in my life and gave me the motivation and the will to keep going, to be honest. And they were microdoses. They're no different to having a baby aspirin. And for a lot of people, they're like, that can't be enough.
Well, but you said it. I mean, we are so used to the big portions and the big volume, everything. I mean, we have a joke about food in the States. I mean, you go and order a meal and you get like a big thing, and half of it you can't even finish. It's just a natural thing. Big gulp, everything. I mean, even I think who was it? Bloomberg,
Super,
one of the mayor.
yeah, supersize me. Yeah,
Well, I think one of the mayors in New York. I think they either taxed something big, I forgot what it was, either to tax it or they kind of removed it from like the 7-Elevens and stuff like that because it was just too much sugar going on. And, they try to, I guess, push. I think even in the UAE, they just did that recently where they're taxing sugar beverages differently because they want less consumption of them. But you're right, the ingredients in Europe compared to the US, completely different things, whether the different colorings and the different ingredients. And it is sad that a lot of, I mean, even oils, right? I mean, cooking oils is one of the biggest things that we consume day in, day out. And we've had multiple nutritious, nutrition talks, and it is a huge problem. And a lot of stuff is fried and all those things. I mean, they're just a grade low, I guess, or refined grade of standard oil. We're just like it's like a lubricant, for your body, which is actually doing a number on the insides, right? And destroying a lot of stuff in there, inflammation and all this stuff. And it just doesn't, help. And I love what you said about the addictive, aspects of things. And it is really just an engineering thing. Scientists, in the lab kind of put whatever, level of, dosages you mentioned in there. And the higher, the better you can push it, I guess. But not necessarily the right way to do it, because as you said, some things are best taken in a lower frequency or lower, rate, and it does exactly the perfect, result, and has the perfect result versus when
yeah.
you overdo something and you're done.
One of the big
Right.
things I wasn't aware of is, and it only took me being in this space to really learn it, is dosage and potency. Like it's all
Mm.
fine hearing it. Oh my God, 1,800 milligrams, 1,800 milligrams of blah, 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 right? I'm like, okay, but what is the dosage and the potency of that I would actually need to have? So if I need 3,000 milligrams as a dosage, but because of how you've mathed your label, they don't tell you that, yeah, you'd have to have 3 bags of our product to actually have a dose, a potent dose. So it's kind of like it all becomes a game and it becomes a very fascinating marketing game and angle. And the big difference is like I created a product that people can feel within 5 to 10 minutes. And they don't have to be taking these things for 30 days. It doesn't build dependence and all these other things. But because of that, I have women who are dealing with menopause, that brain fog that a lot of us deal with, that can like be lifted. I had one lady tell me it's just like having her sunglasses removed, having her glasses removed, and like she can see for the first time. And I was just like, wow, that's a very powerful analogy. And she was able to experience that within 15 minutes from one simple dose. And it like the thing is like that creates life. I have people who are 70 plus years of age using our perform blends of mushrooms, and they're like, I no longer have to have a nap in the middle of the day. They're like, you don't understand. I've been having a nap for 25 years. And like, I've now got time and energy for my family. And it's all because we explain to them the difference. And I'll even challenge you, Mr. Hurricane, right? What's the difference between caffeine and mushroom-based energy?
Well, I would say caffeine takes your energy and mushrooms gives it to you.
So, yeah, very, very close. So, caffeine tells the body, let's fake the energy. That's why a lot of people can have a coffee and like you can have a nap 20 minutes later, right? Like you can literally have a coffee and have a nap, and it's just like, yeah, oh, you can have an espresso and then go to bed. Like,
That would be
and
me.
yeah, a lot of people do that. They're like, oh, no, we just have the espresso. The Italians do this, all this type of stuff. Like, it's a cultural thing, right? But mushroom-based energy like cordyceps will increase oxygen at an 80 at the cellular level by upwards of 40%. But it also puts the body in energy production mode for 4 to 6 hours. So, but there's a big difference in energy that I wasn't really aware of, and that a lot of people struggle with in this transfer. And I'm not a proponent to give up tea or coffee, right? I love my tea. I'm English, Australian, like I'm a tea granny. I love my coffee. But the thing is it's like how do you turn it into a superfood that powers you in a clean, smooth, crash-free, jitter-free way throughout the day? And that's the big difference because it's the impact on your mental clarity, your mental performance, the impact on our hormone roller coaster that we all go through, men and women. It's just not women. It's just not a certain time of the month. Men and women have cycles, right? How do we stabilize that so the stress and the anxiety of what's happening in the world or in our personal life is something we can actually deal with and manage? Does that make sense?
Well, it does. And well, first of all, I'm one of those guys that literally get an espresso and just crash on it. That happened to me one time. Actually, I slept with the cup in my hands after I finished it. And that was documented by my dear kids because they're like, wow, that's a joke. But it's funny because you're right. I mean, you get you wake up, you want that cup of Joe, you just dump one in and you have a little excitement for a few minutes. But then again, later on, you just have no energy and you just kind of deplete. To your point, there's a lot of levels here. It's not just so much that, I mean, that makes our energy. It is, yeah, our metabolism, the hormones, as you said, we go up and down. There's all kind of things. But it's fascinating to hear, you first of all, you're passionate about this because you were in that world. You still, love your tea, as you said. I mean, although tea is probably a different level of caffeine, I think a lot of people would say it's an easier caffeine intake versus the regular coffee, and so it works differently in the body. And of course, we can have whole sorts, discussion about those types. But so you've tested mushrooms, and by the way, there's a lot of types of mushrooms there, and some of them have different levels of I guess potency, as you said, and they work differently to different aspects. If I'm not mistaken, you can guide us through this, further because this is your expertise. You tested it, it worked out for you, and it kind of solved some of the problems, as you said, depression, all the work stuff that you had, the stress, all these high cortisol, moments that you had. It kind of mellowed you down. You felt good about it. There was no after effect or aftermath or one of those bad reactions that we usually get from the other stuff such as the caffeine based beverages. And so you did that, you tested it, but what made you just like I mean, you're just like, okay, that's it, this is the business I want to be in? Or you kind of you just kind of fell in love with the concept and saw a value that would benefit other people and also an opportunity for business and took advantage of that and
Yeah,
transited
so
because yeah,
yeah, I was
go
like,
ahead.
well, I was burnt out it had presented itself in the right time in my life, and I was like, you know what? I was tired of the rebuilding. And a lot of the time when you're in consulting or business development or you're working with companies, you're constantly rebuilding because there's new clients, there's new client acquisition, there's growth phases they go through and things like that. So it's like you don't really consult with a company for 20 years, right? Like you're consulting with new companies every 2 to 4 years. Um, that's usually how that type of cycle works for many people. And I'm like, it's this hamster wheel. And I had a lot of friends who were in the supplement space and they've been doing it for 40 years, 50 years. I'm like, man, I want to do something for the rest of my life. And I want to be able to reiterate it, not reiterate me. And it's a big difference. And like, if you're doing 5 different side hustles, I think the hustle mentality can be very, very dangerous because it means you're always looking for that next shiny object rather than shining the turd you have. And that's a big difference because every business sucks. Like there is moments and challenges in every businesses, and I was an entrepreneur that when I was going through the suck or it was getting hard, I would move to the new shiny thing. And that's dangerous because I never got to compound my growth to the new levels, to the next levels. Like right now, we're onboarding over 1,500 distributors across the country. And we're even expanding, funny enough, into what they call micro remediation, which is using mushrooms for waste. So we're actually going to be rolling out mushrooms for septic-based products and things like this to treat septics. Like most people would never think about it, but it's so powerful. And the system we're creating but it's really hard and really challenging to do. And there is 50 ways I could give up this thing. But I'm like, but there's something that makes a real difference to this going, I'm committing to this for the rest of my life. And I'm going to make this work. And your business transforms. So if anyone who's listening to this is going through that hustle and you've got multiple things, I would challenge you. Find the one you enjoy the most and understand at some point you will freaking hate that thing. But lock into it because when you commit to it and you truly master it, not just be good at it, like truly master it, it can transform your life. And for me, what I found was the topic of mushrooms is extremely big. There's mushrooms for food, there's mushrooms for tinctures like what we offer. I've created a smart candy line that instead of candy that makes you dumb, it actually helps make you smarter because we put the dose of this into the hard candy, which people with ADHD or kids on the spectrum love, and we did it with no food coloring, no dyes, like all like really cool stuff. And now we're moving into the our mushroom grow facility, the farm we're building, is literally going to be growing mushrooms for dealing and helping people with septic systems because there's a great way that mushrooms can break down waste. We've got offers, we're talking to people, for example, who literally want us to use mushrooms for textiles, fabrics, building materials. So growing this product allows us to do other things. And that's really powerful. So my advice for anyone is if you're in the hustle side of things, you're growing things, you're trying to scale something, focus on going deep. Don't go wide. It's not about having seven streams of income from day one. It's about building something that will create you the cash flow to invest in other streams. And I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs really go wrong. And look, my advice is like doesn't mean anything to anybody, but I can promise you, if you take action on some of this, like you can transform your life very, very quickly. And I built my business. One other thing I just want to say real quick. I built my business. Like I started building this business while traveling around in an RV, traveling around the US, and I did 40,000 miles traveling around the US, experiencing the US. And because I was focusing on one thing, I actually built a very successful company, and then I'm like, man, this is getting bigger, and I need to now build a base station and headquarters, and now we've moved into the farm and all of this type of stuff. Because when you're doing what you love, it really becomes easier. And I used to listen to my dad who would say, yeah, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dad. Like I'm going to my second, third job, like whatever. Like but now I really get it. There's something to that, if that makes sense.
Well, it does, and so actually, it's almost you beat me to something here because I wanted to just take a pause. First of all, I want to congratulate you, congratulate you and your success in this aspect of making that transition because that is a powerful transition that many miss, over time because they get so immersed into the hustle, as you said. And I think the issue with that is, to your point, we are bombarded with the idea that in order for you to be successful, you have to have multiple streams. You got to do this, you got to do that. You got to work extra hours. Go nuts, because that's how you make it, right? But there's also the concept. We can also, I mean, I use the concept, for example, if you can't have all your eggs in one basket, and I get that. But at the end of the day, you kind of burn out, and that's really where a lot of people wind up. And sometimes it gets too late. You might not have the energy if you wait too long. You might not have the means anymore. Whatever things can be a problematic thing. But for anyone watching or listening, if you are going through exactly what Ben's been through, and you feel that it's maybe it's just a mood point to keep going, or you're not feeling right about it, see what part of all the stuff that you're doing, what really ticks for you, and just take it to the next level, which I think, Ben, you did. Took the time, you built it yourself. I mean, just speaking about it, I mean, like this is you. Like it's part of your DNA now. It's like it's inside of your bloodstream, right? It's rolling all over you,
And
and
one of
that's the
the
thing.
really cool things is that I'm doing everything I love in this one bucket. So, as you said, like, don't have all your eggs in one basket, right? But most people don't even bother building the first basket before they start running to build other baskets for other eggs. So they don't even have one basket with an egg in it, right? So it's kind of like we have to build this one thing first, then
Mhm.
move on, right? And it's funny, like I was talking to one guy the other day and he's got seven businesses and he was so proud of the seven businesses. I'm like, dude, which one's really working? He's like, oh, this one. I'm like, then why aren't you all in? He's like, well, no one's ever asked me that before. I'm like, because the six other businesses are actually robbing you of this one mega thing that can really crush it. And like it's a thing that reflects to a lot of us.
Actually, I personally can admit to it. I made that mistake, a couple of times in my life where I did all that, and I should have just focused in, one area of my expertise and made it happen. And of course, I learned that a little later, but yeah, I'm guilty as charged when it comes to that. And a lot of people are because again, I mean, sometimes you got to hear it, right? You think you know it, but you don't until you see it somewhere else and you hear it somewhere else and it's working. But you're right, your energy has to be focused. I mean, a laser beam is as good as it is because it is focused energy in one beam. It's just one dot that can destroy. And I mean, the old magnifying glass, when you put it in the sun, right? I mean, one little tiny thing converges all the rays into one, and then now you have fire. But sometimes we kind of lose track of that because again, we have so much environment around us and a lot of, I guess, frequencies that we are capturing from everyone, a lot of opinions, and we just want to succeed. I think everybody just wants to make it happen, but going about it, sometimes can be a difficult place to be, and unfortunately, some do better than others. I would say, fortunately, I would say that for those that make it, and but it's never too late. That's the other message I think that we can share with our audiences is that okay, guys, it hasn't happened yet, but maybe it's time. Look at your arsenal, see what you and I love what you said. Yes, I mean, you have to get your niche, you got to get it, to a level where it's really happening. And then you're diversifying the same within the same niche, but now you're going to different angles, little, tentacles of the same. But now you already have the master, source, the core, and then now you put, the designs around it. It's like building a beautiful house, and now you just, picking up the nice little decorations for the house that can make it and the ornaments that can make it look better and increase the value. But so now let's talk about, you mentioned something about science a couple of times, and you use even the word. So I mean, let's talk about that. What is the actual impact on the brain and on the energy and when it comes to mushrooms? And maybe if you can kind of give us a difference between some of the mushrooms. I mean, I'm familiar with lion's mane, for example, but I'm sure there's a few others that are, they all have different, I guess, um, specialties and what they do in the body, and I guess connections, or whatever term you want to use in science. But just, yeah, I'll leave the science to you. Break it down to us.
So mushrooms are an adaptogen. They can do many, many things. And most people have heard about lion's mane, and they've had it. And they're like, oh, I've tried it and it really didn't work for me. And it's really because of the extraction process. So when it comes to the science, there's many cheap ways to do extraction. There's water-based extraction, there's alcohol-based extraction, and there's what we do, which is called spagyric, which is one of the oldest form of alchemies. Just to make this single bottle takes 8 to 12 weeks, right? And most people won't commit the time nor the money to do it. But the product is 90+% bioefficient, right? So therefore, your body is actually getting more nutrients out of this than 4 or 5 dropperfuls of another product. So if you feel this in 5 minutes, is it worth the time investment? I would say yes, but a lot of companies say no because of the cost investment, right? So I'll explain the difference. And when you really start to understand this, you can start to understand the games companies are playing and how to now source the right type of product. Because Let's talk about water-based extraction first. Water-based extraction is really simple. It is no different to you cooking noodles on the sink or boiling the kettle. It's literally you boil the pot, you let the noodles boil. You can be done with a water-based extraction in an hour. You can take something you boiled and put it into a bottle in 1 hour. The bioefficiency, the potency, right, of what you boiled in a water-based extraction is somewhere between 5 and 10%. Your body is only getting 5 and 10% of the nutrients, right? The next thing is alcohol extraction. Alcohol extraction is very, very important. There's a whole genre of people like, oh my gosh, we can't use alcohol, blah, 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 right? I'm like, yeah, but did you know that some of the fats, proteins, minerals, salts, terpenes that you need to actually get that the body wants from mushrooms can only be extracted through alcohol-based extraction? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, so that water-based mushroom that you're raving about is how great it is. You're not even getting the nutrients that you think you're actually getting. So having an alcohol-based extraction is now usually they boil it in the water and then they take that same mushroom and then go boil it in the alcohol and they combine it. So that's a water and alcohol. That makes it about 30% potent. So if you're looking for extractions, make sure you're getting one that's a water and alcohol because you're getting the different fats, minerals, and all the goodness. And this applies to mushrooms. It applies to any type of any really type of tincture with any type of herb, spice, lotion, potion, you name it. The other part of that is we take it one step further. So we do spagyric extraction. It's the oldest form of alchemy. And what we do is we take the water, we take the alcohol, and then we take the mushroom that's gone through that, and we literally turn it into white ash. We burn it, set it on fire, and then we put that back into the tincture because now you're getting every fat, mineral, oil, terpene. You're getting all of the nutrients. They actually say you're actually getting the energy, the spirit energy of the mushrooms, of the herbs, therefore making the thing more potent. And that's now when we combine the water, the alcohol, and the raw spagyric, the calcified mushrooms, that's where we get potency upwards of 90+%. So when you talk about dosage, right? This one simple dropper is a dose. That's a clinical dose of mushrooms. Most mushroom products don't even have a clinical dose in an entire bottle, let alone in a single dropper. That's the difference.
I was going to ask about, well, the supplements are out there that are always being promoted, and whether they have anything to them. But I mean, I guess you just busted that one right
Well,
over the
okay,
bat
well,
there.
let me break that down one step further. A lot of people go,
All
oh,
right.
Ben, I take a mushroom capsule. I'm like, oh, really?
Hmm.
Did you know? So here's a trivia fact. How potent do you think those mushroom capsules really are?
Doubt it. Personally, I don't think.
So some of the leading brands, like the big brands, have been independently tested multiple times, and they found that they contain anywhere from 42 to 46% filler. And some of the filler they use is sawdust. So that big capsule you're having, half of it is pointless. It's just to make the capsule look big because the big capsules are the better ones, right? Like how does that stupidity make sense when you say it out loud?
Well, then, it's marketing. It's it's psychology 101. The bigger the better, that kind of thing. Although, short and sweet does work. And to your point, potency doesn't come in big stuff. It could be, little things that can make a big difference. But again, it's how it's being promoted and marketed. I mean, you go to these stores and there's thousands of supplements. By the way, the reason I asked is because this is something we've crossed one time before in a discussion on nutrients and supplements. And to your point, a lot of it is just fluff, and it's not the core, it's not the main, important ingredients. Or maybe you get a small dosage of whatever or percent of what the active ingredients are. So to your point, you can go through the whole bottle only to get that very solid dose that you need immediately, and you don't have that. So thank you for actually breaking that to us and
Well,
kind of
I'll reveal one more thing for you. Ready?
go for it.
All
Love it.
right, this may blow people's minds. So you'll see a lot of bottles or supplements. They always say, what are the words they always say? I'll test your knowledge. Are you ready for another knowledge test?
Oh, I don't know. This one is a tough one. I don't take a lot of them, but uh,
They
I
say
don't know.
proprietary blend.
Okay, yeah, that I've seen.
All right. Do you know what that actually means?
Nope. I mean, proprietary, I guess that's their own blend, but could be anything.
So, so technically, to use the words proprietary blend, if I say this is a proprietary blend, you only have to have 2% of the main ingredient that you claim is in there. The rest of it can be anything you want. Anything you want. So now my proprietary blend is blah, right? Only 2% of that's got to be that. And it doesn't even have to be high quality products you're putting in there. It's just got to have that. And then the rest of it can be sawdust.
Well, Ben, isn't it true that in the US, most of the supplements are not even FDA approved?
Oh yeah, yeah, and FDA approval is also a little bit of a joke. FDA approval costs about $3 million, but doesn't actually facilitate anything, doesn't verify standards, and doesn't even mean you're using the right stuff. They preference pharmaceutical gasoline-based ingredients over stuff that'll actually do. Like they would rather you put the crap in than the good stuff. And like there's a movement by the FDA right now to ban a lot of holistic remedies because they treat them as they've got a word for it. It's pseudoscience.
Uh, Okay. Although it exists, only in old ancient, medicine, books and cultures, Ayurveda, Chinese medicine. I mean, these are
They've
like,
been using it for thousands of years, thousands
Mhm.
of citizen research, which is sometimes better documented than a clinical study, right? But yet they'll try and push vaccines on us that have never been tested, yet that's FDA approved. It's just kind of like, yet this herb, which is a plant which people have been having for centuries, is bad.
It's amazing when you put profit and politics together. You get this, you get these kinds of, problems. And but really, I mean, naturopathic medicine and ancient medicine, such as the Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, all these are potent. People use them. I mean, to a degree, I mean, there's some benefit to modern medicine. I mean, we're talking about advanced medicine and surgery and other things. But really, when it
There,
comes
there
to
is there is a massive benefit to modern medicine, and there's points and times for everything. But it's about what you do on a daily basis, and it's also about how you can support modern medicine, and ancient medicine has value. Holistic medicine has value, and we're seeing that. Like there's some compounds in our mushrooms that the drug companies will extract one of the molecules of five, for example, and without the other four ingredients, they have all these side effects. Where if you just take the mushroom, you don't have the side effects and you don't need five other capsules. But it's more profitable to sell you five medications than one. And this is where people need to realize and go, hey, what am I taking? What's the dosage and the potency of what I'm taking? And is that really the standard of ingredient I want to put in my body? And if you start asking yourself that, you'll choose better supplements. And you'll choose better products because there's goods and bads with everything, right? Like there's good and bad mushrooms.
well, again, listen to you. You said it perfectly. The idea is yes. I mean, I said there's benefits, and you said you confirmed it about modern medicine. But you don't need to get sick. If you actually take care of yourself with the right, supplements and things that you need on a day-to-day basis. I mean, people that are really taking good care of themselves, the odds of them winding up in need of any type of surgery or interventions can be much less, than the ones that don't. And I love what you said is that, one little piece of the five ingredients is not what you need, and therefore that's what they put, and therefore you're always, I guess, deprived of the whole, well, the holistic, version of things, and therefore you have a problem. Your body is not feeling right, and something is missing. I mean, we hear this a lot with the thyroid, for example. I mean, they give you this that medicine that only tackles one of the T's or whatever they refer to them in the science. And the other stuff that is really the core, the 80% that needs to be addressed is never addressed. Therefore, people are never gonna, be cured of anything that has to do with thyroid, issues. As a matter of fact, it's amazing in just this particular area, especially with women's health. It's a big deal, and people get addicted. I was one time with my wife at a doctor and said, once you get a medicine, with thyroid medicine, you're in for life. And that actually goes to the concept of a lot of the stuff that's out there is more addictive. You talked about addiction, but it's the wrong addiction. It's the addiction to just keep you, I guess, purchasing and buying and just it's
Well,
just a commerce.
it's connected to the science that the insurance use. Like insurance companies can predict your death based on the medications you are taking. Because this medication is going to lead to this medication, which is going to lead to this medication, which is going to lead to this medication, which is going to lead to this. And when you're on this, you've got X days. Actuary science is a huge thing. It's a $1 billion industry. And this is the thing that, like, yeah, like if these were so good, then they'd be everywhere and they'd want them everywhere. But like, there's not the money in that. Like and as you said, it's when you get sick, how do you rebound? And I think this is the question we should be asking ourselves. And it's like, how do I allow my body to rebound faster and healthier and more stable rather than I rebound, but I've rebounded with a limp, right? And a lot of people may get that out analogy because the kids bring home stuff, the kids are getting sick. How do you make the kids stronger for all the stuff that's going around? So instead of going down for a week, they maybe only go down for 2 days. Like, what's the impact of that on the family, the household? Like, what's the impact on you having more clean energy, not having to have a nap? What's the impact on you having a clearer head, not always forgetting where the keys are? What about the science of now all the people with dementia and Alzheimer's and a pure lion's mane can benefit them, or the ladies dealing with menopause and like lion's mane and some of our mushrooms can actually there's clinical trials on how it can help them instantly, but it doesn't build a debt in their body that they're now dealing with synthetic compounds and having skin issues and having other things that compound because it literally gets flushed from their body within 24 hours. Like these are the things that I think make you start to approach this holistic health a little bit differently. Yes, there's instant wins, energy, mental focus, clarity, better sleep. I've got my veterans who rave about one of our products. We created a mushroom blend that we added ashwagandha to. So if you're working out and you're doing recovery and things like that, phenomenal. If you have it before bed, it helps you with have a better night's sleep, a deeper, more restorative night's sleep. Like, and it's because we create a blend that is optimal around a result, if that makes sense.
Well, it does, and well, so here's a question because uh, there is some sort of a I guess a perception about using shrooms and mushrooms, and it's kind of I mean I guess there's some marketing against the products because it kind of falls into the area of maybe drugs, level. Is that a true? Is that a thing that is real, or is there, I guess, industry published marketing campaigns to kind of suppress, the use of the holistic approach and the tools that are available that are natural and they have more potency?
100%. A lot of people actually think mushrooms are the only mushrooms they hear are the psychedelic, the psilocybin and
Yeah.
things like that. That's going to get them high. It's going to be the trippy mushrooms. Like it's the most common question I actually get. The reality is none of our mushrooms are psychedelic. They've got no psychedelic elements. What they do have is you'll actually feel clear-headed. You won't have brain fog. Like that's not tripping. That's you now having being able to think. And for some people, thinking is tripping. So like it's a totally different thing. But yeah, like the world of mushrooms has a stigma to it. It's not like cannabis. It's not going to put you on the couch, right? It's not like this is one of the big problems with CBD, right? There's hugely beneficial CBDs, but like people don't want to lose their cognitive performance. Um, so yeah, there's like the Chinese athletes. They actually report that all of their athletes have Cordyceps and reishi usually before they go into any athletic experience, right? Any medal win. And they usually report this because of their victories. And it actually, because it increases oxygen production at a cellular level by 40%, can improve your VO2 max, right? It gives you natural energy and smooth caffeine, oh, well, it's caffeine free, but smooth energy for 4 to 6 hours. So, and the thing is this stuff is so natural, it doesn't show up in blood tests. It doesn't show up in like drug screening. So the thing is I have a lot of we have a lot of truck drivers and pilots and stuff like that, and they're paranoid about this stuff. I'm like, "Oh, I get drug tested all the time. Is this stuff going to show up?" No, dude, it's food. It's food.
Well, that's amazing because you think that with athletes and sports, I mean, there's doping and this stuff, and there's screenings to your point, jobs that are risky, and as you said, pilots and drivers, they have to do the blowing test and all the stuff and the blood and the recurrent things. This is different. But I love what you said. It's funny. I was laughing because you said this doesn't make you trip. I think we got so used to not thinking, and when finally your mind is clear, that becomes the opposite reaction. So it's a sad statement to hear that we, because the way we are, I guess, consuming products and supplements that are not effective, we're so kind of like not sharp, and when something clicks in that sharpness that is supposed to be actually the natural state, we think like this is off, there's something going on here, which is weird, but it is like something. When you said it, I'm like, oh my god, it doesn't, it's like it hits hard, man, when you start thinking about these things, literally, because it's amazing what's available to us that is real, natural, yet we're not consuming. It's amazing that, the stuff like, and by the way, again, I want to not thank you again, for being on the show. And I know you do this quite often because education is, I think, what's missing. The whole realm, the whole premise of us being here is to share value with people so people can understand what's available to them. Because I think that's the whole thing. There's not enough marketing, at least not enough to suppress the bigger campaigns and the bigger companies and the larger corporations that actually have a lot of funding behind those things to promote their products versus companies that are like
Well,
in
can
the
I
in your
add one
space, for
extra thing
example.
to this? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people like take mushroom coffee. And I'm like, I am a proponent for life is too short for shitty coffee. Shitty tea, shitty coffee, right? I'm like, you do not need mushroom coffee. Like, if you like mushroom coffee, have it. But the reality is you're drinking sludge in the bottom of the cup, which is usually a compromise to the coffee you love. And coffee is so personal. Some people grew up on Folgers or Dunkin' Donuts, and like that's the coffee they love. So the thing is you have an option with holistic medicine to actually convert the things you love into a superfood. So if you could add one dropper of this with your coffee and now have the benefits and the power of it, and that makes you happy, I think that's great. If you love mushroom coffee, have it. But don't think you've got to suffer through. And I think a lot of people go, oh, holistic. Ugh, that's gonna taste like ass. Like it's just it doesn't have to be like this. Like it's just that was one version of some product somebody was offering, or that was one experience you had. But it's not like that at all. When you really start getting into it, it can actually be very, very rewarding.
Well, thank you. Well, so now let's talk about something. Someone really out there feeling, listening to the show, feeling completely burned out as you were, low energy, mental fog. Where should they start? I mean, how do they? Is there an entry point, entry level, or these things are just for everybody? Doesn't matter. Do they have to start with a specific dosage or potency level, or they just can get that particular bottle you have in your hands, for example, and just And by the way, I love what you said about the different versions that you have that have no sugar, they taste good and all the stuff, because I think a lot of people want the right taste, as you said, they want the right flavor and so on and so forth. Where do we go from there? Like, how do we advise people today?
So my best advice would always look for a spagyric extraction. It's the most potent, most bioefficient, and you can have less but get more, right? Our bottles are smaller because I don't need to give you a big bottle because you don't have to have like you can have one dropper per day. I've got parents that put this in their kids' chocolate milk or their orange juice in the morning, and they find that their kids are happier, their kids are enjoying life, the kids sleep better, the kids are more stable throughout the day, and it's just a mushroom. It's just pure lion's mane. If you need energy, take something with Cordyceps and reishi. Look, everyone, like, as soon as you start talking to someone about mushrooms, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this mushroom! Oh my God, that mushroom!" Like, but the thing is like, what are you trying to achieve? We combine our blends with herbs. I use things like regalia and things like that, which is what the Greeks and they used to use when they go into battle to actually open their mind, awaken their mind, and have real clear focus and clarity. Like we combine that. I use ashwagandha with our herb blend for people who need recovery. So if you're dealing with immunotherapy stuff, if you're dealing with you're not getting good night's sleeps, if you're dealing with you're working out and going to the gym, what do you have post workout to help you at a cellular level, right? These are the things that are important. So it's like, what do I want? And one of the big things I think people need to understand is if they're going to do stuff that's clean, which is caffeine free, sugar free, you may have been deceived with other products because they've packed them with caffeine and sugar. There's no caffeine or sugar in any of our products or in any of our mushroom lines. So find one that doesn't have it because your energy, it'll take you a little bit to adapt to it. It may take you a week to understand what clean energy feels like. Clean energy doesn't get your heart beating and pumping and like the jitters, the nerves. We know we've all had it from that one coffee too much, right? We all know what that feels like. You don't have that. Like I could drink this whole bottle and I'm not going to have this effect. Because what I am going to do is just be really want to get shit done and clean the house. I tell people like our red bottle, try not to have it after 4 o'clock because you'll have clean energy for 4 to 6 hours. You don't want to be laying in bed at 10 o'clock at night trying to sleep when you're thinking about cleaning the garage. Not really the thing you want to be dealing with, right? So there is an impact. And I think a lot of people come into these products thinking they're that drug product because pharmaceutical products are designed to take pain away within minutes. It may take an hour for you to experience the benefit of some of this. It may take you an extended period of time, days or weeks, for it to naturally build up in your body, not stockpile like a pharmaceutical drug. So, like, there is a difference because it's not a quick fix. And I think that is the biggest downfall of the holistic way. It's like, it's a way of life and it's a daily choice, not, oh, I'm going to just take it now so I can avoid what I'm dealing with. Does that make sense?
It does. So then how can people incorporate these natural, I guess, solutions in their daily routine practically? Is it just, use it with their beverage, like favorite drink, as you said, coffee maybe, or just
Yeah, so what I do
water?
with what I do with most people is I'm like, hey, why are you having your coffee? I tell people there's two choices. You're having your tea, your coffee, your smoothie in the morning. You can either add it to it, or like you just have a shot glass and you literally drop one dropper in. It's a tiny shot. You just have it with your coffee. So now I've just turned my coffee into a superfood that I'm going to be getting benefits from for the rest of the day. And like that's literally it. It's just adding that. It's not subtracting. I'm not wanting you to change. And this is one of the big things. A lot of holistic stuff are like, well, you've got to get off coffee. You've got to get off tea. You've got to get off this. That's hard. It's kind of like going to the gym, right? We all know we should work out. But I'm going to go for a walk around the block today, and that's what I'm going to reward myself for. So it's the little things that can trigger bigger things. Like taking this in the morning can give you more energy later in the day, so you want to go work out. So now it's causing a positive domino. Maybe it just got you off the couch. And that was enough to do something. Rather than using DoorDash for food, you cook something. Heaven forbid you use those pots and pans, right? Like so, it's a different world. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Well, you said something, by the way, about the idea of it might take you longer to get to see results because of, but again, someone who's been really putting a lot of bad things, and ingredients in the body, certainly the body's gonna have to adjust because once you start cleaning, it's like doing a cleanse into the body. It has to kind of dissipate the old stuff and kind of get replaced, and eventually we'll get to its stage where it's like it's optimum, and now the body knows what's the new hit, which is the product. And you will do with the old stuff, you'll do with the bad things, and you're never going to go back to them because now you have the new high, I would say, but I don't mean it in the psychotic, in the actual mental state, of it. It's more about just the energy level that it gives you when you actually use, something as potent as you or as your product. Now, there is a question that a lot of people sometimes ask themselves, and that kind of be again a deterrent from purchasing products and things like that. which is basically just the cost. Because sometimes, they're afraid this is going to cost me a lot. How much of this I need? What would you say to that? Because I think sometimes that's a big, question. People don't want to invest in their health. Unfortunately, if they can invest in a lot of things, they spend a cup of coffee can be $7 in one of the franchises out there in the US. And I'm not going to name one right now, but I think you mentioned one of them, but the other one, the competitor one. But really, it's $7 for one cup. I mean, it adds up quickly in a month. Uh, but yet, it could be a fraction of that cost to get something that is this healthy, this natural.
Yeah, like our bottles aren't cheap. It's the retail price of this is $99. Yeah, so like you look at, oh my gosh, that little bottle. But I'm like, yeah, but $7 for a cup of coffee, you're having 5 cups, sometimes 2 coffees a day. So you're at $14 a day, 5 days a week. Like it adds up. But like what's it like? There is really a cost that I don't think we take into account. What is the 30-day cost? What is the long-term cost of this? What is that burnout feeling? Like, why are you burning out on a Wednesday, struggling through hump day, and then kind of like you have what, and then you're now having to have the alcohol increases. So, because of the hump day, I'm now spending more on the alcohol and the sedation that I need and things like this. Like, so what is this total cost? And a lot of people don't understand that full cost parameter. And the reality is, like, everything's going to cost you. There's a compromise and a choice with everything. I'm not asking you to give up anything. I'm just going, hey, if you want to feel clearer headed, like there is an option and people will pay for it. It's just there's no different to all the people who've been doing all the GLP-1s, the weight loss stuff, but now they're dealing with the rapid cost of the bone density issues, the health issues, and the side effects, and the issues that are coming with that. And like, it's just like, well, instead of eating healthier and working out, I'd rather take a drug that makes me sicker long term, but I lose weight and I look great in the photos. So it's kind of like there is an easy button. One of my mentors told me, he goes, you got to choose your hard because it's all going to be hard. And the problem is it's either hard today, easy tomorrow, or easy today, hard tomorrow. Which one do you want? Like, and the reality is me paying for this and not having to buy 5 coffees. Well, like it pays for itself. Me being more productive, me being more stable emotionally and not freaking out and without the drug side effects that are muting my life. I don't know. It
Well, man, sadly, people sometimes don't see it that way until somebody tells them about it, or they see it through their own health decline, right? And so that's the problem, because and but this is something that I've dealt with for many years, especially in the fitness world. And people actually would not want to spend money on their health, and eventually there is a saying, if you don't spend money in health now, you're going to spend them in your sick self, and so on and so forth. So if you got to do, it's investment, as you said, you invest in yourself. You keep yourself sharp, you keep yourself healthy, you keep yourself pumping, and your results will be better. I mean, for business, for your family's aspect, your health is definitely your first, because that's your wealth, before anything else. If you have health, that's great. If you don't, it's a problem. Can't do anything, can't perform anything, right? So it is important, but it's really, to your point, it's just a matter of, like, what's your priority. And sometimes we have to make the decision that this is a better priority for me, and therefore that's what I need to be focused on. Now, again, people have
I
to get a little
think
bit yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
there's a bigger issue to this. I think there's a bigger issue is because the decision or the choice I'm going to be making may be the choice that is not supported by my family or by the people around me. And I may have to say no to the noise that's coming at me. And I honestly respect people for making these choices because I understand that you're gonna have to sit at the table and people are like, well, what's different about you now? You're doing something different. Oh yeah, I'm taking these mushrooms. Right? Or like, or I went to a Reiki therapist, whatever it was, right? The judgment you'll get from people is
Well,
it's a little bit different. Or I started going to the gym, good for you, but you're not going to keep that up. You've tried that before. Like, it, and I think that's a tough thing we all have to go through, and we all have to acknowledge and respect. Sometimes you just got to praise the effort, and we're all going to fall off the bus. Look, I don't take these every single day, but I do try to be consistent with them. And the thing is I don't need to take them every day. It's not like a medication that I'm forced to put down my throat every single day for the rest of my life. That's scary as all get out, to be honest.
Well, yeah, again, you're talking about a great thing. First, the influences, right? That's a big deal, and the judgments that we're always afraid of. And then I think you just mentioned something powerful is that medications, right? They do have a lot of side effects. You kind of gave a couple of examples already. Uh, you're talking about a product here that gives you all the positives without the bad outcomes. So I mean, it's no brainer. It's not even an equation here that you have to be decisive about. To your point, it's more about you just getting over the idea that this is me. I don't care what people think. I want to be the best that I can be here. I want to perform to the optimum level that I can be at. And this is a tool that's going to give me that clarity, sharpness, and energy that I did not have before. Now, a lot of people may listen to the show like, well, I've tried some other stuff. And to your point, I mean, there's a lot of products out there. That's, I think, the other part that's available out there is that people have bad experiences and so therefore they are skeptical. What would you tell those people?
You tried a product, doesn't mean you tried the product for you. And I feel sorry that we all get judged by our worst competitors. And the thing is like, yeah, you can buy these bottles for $20 off Amazon. 100%. Yes, you can. But you can also buy crappy tasting tap water out of your tap for free. And the thing is there's a difference, right? Like, and you get what you pay for. And the reality is I totally get it. You may have paid top dollar. Like, hey, use the word Hurricane H as a coupon code on our site, and we'll make sure you get 50% off your first order. Like, we guarantee our products. Like, I'll compromise my price on the thing that I know you've been burnt by somebody else. Like, that's how much we believe in these products. And and when you try it, you'll be like, damn, I didn't realize this is how it was meant to feel. Like, this is what real mushrooms should feel like.
Thank you. I mean, that's powerful. I mean, I didn't expect that, but you're right. This is a big deal, right? Because there's so much stuff going on. To your point, I mean, there's a lot of cheap products out there and everything, health, clothing, you name it. There's always some product that is pushed so much, but the quality and the outcomes for it is just the worst. I mean, you give them a review, it's not going to be a good one, but they do destroy it for the real top stuff. That's why people need to do their homework. And again, and I appreciate a show like this where you are coming out and really highlighting the best, well, you're highlighting the whole thing about the industry and about what's available, how it works, and so on and so forth, not just about your product. And you have also the confidence that your product is exactly what you stated to be. And that's the other thing. I mean, you are the lead of the company, and you're putting your word, your face, your name into it. A lot of these companies, no one knows who they are. They just listing on a page in a very competitive market. In Amazon, as you said, is one of the places, the sites that you can have thousands of products in one area. And I can relate to it because at a certain point, my wife had a company of some potent cosmetic stuff that was natural argan oil, which is a unique oil that is only found in one place in one area of Morocco in North Africa. And her product was not expensive. I mean, it was decently priced and compared to the others, but people were always like, "Oh, we can get this for $10. We can get this for $15." But when you analyze that stuff, they had literally like 2% of the actual stuff. They just put that argan oil, but everything else is not really the argan oil. And her product was literally 100% exactly what it is. There's nothing else, no add-ons, no nothing. But I can relate to that. I know what that means. But unfortunately, a lot of people they don't have that knowledge, or at least they haven't been exposed to it. So at least these talks can make a difference, and people can understand what's going on. And now it's just a matter of making the move. So let's talk about the move. How can people get your product? Is it, in only on the site? Is it by orders? Is it a subscription? Or is it available also in different, platforms where people can purchase?
Yeah, so we try to put it on all the platforms and we deal with the all the platforms. But yeah, bareremedy.net, BARE remedy.net. They can get it. They can get it as a one-time purchase. They can get it as a subscription if they want to save more money. And if you use the coupon code Hurricane H, you will literally get 50% off your first order instantly. So try it, love it. and you'll enjoy it. But yeah, the best place to get it, where you know it's always pure, it's not getting knockoff. And this is one of the problems, as you said, with these successful marketplaces. There's a theory of funnel hacking, and they just will copy great products and create a knockoff. And a lot of companies are experiencing this because it's profitable just to knock people off. And it's acceptable to put anything in. So if you want the pure product, yeah, you just use the website. We do a lot of events. We do a lot of expos all around the country. We're always traveling. We've got distributors that we're actually onboarding to help local people build local businesses. And like you can sample our products for free because I know if you try the product, you'll feel the product. And not many companies can actually say that. So yeah, like that's the opportunity we have. We even offer free samples on our website. You just pay shipping, like no charge for the product. It's shipping, and shipping, depending on the products, is $5.99, $9.99, depending how it's shipped out. Like that's what UPS charges us. Some people are like, "Oh my God, that's expensive." I'm like, "Yeah, shipping is bloody ridiculous right now." Like, and it just seems to be getting more expensive. And people are like, "Well, it should be free." I'm like, but then you wouldn't take it. Like I know, like if you want me to pay shipping and the product, like I'm not charging you for the product. You're literally getting a sample for free. Just yeah, like and but yet if I offer free shipping and it's a $20 purchase, they take it. So it's kind of like I don't understand. Like yeah,
Well, that's a whole strategy of business, and people sometimes don't understand how these things, and people want the free stuff. But again, there is an actual psychological logic that if it's too cheap, it's not really, people reject it. People want the pricey. They want because it does feel right. And you're right. There's also a lot of knockoffs, out there, and then you see it in products that are in these sites, and you see it in perfume, you see it in oils, you see it in all kind of stuff, and you never know unless you get it from the source. And I appreciate, that you guys have, these models where you do events and you do samplers. But so now, question: is this only in the States or is it available also overseas? I mean, the show is actually
uh
worldwide, so just in
yeah,
case someone isn't.
right now, it's mainly focused in the US. We do ship internationally, but there's different rules on shipping internationally for mushroom products and how mushroom products are treated in different countries all around the world. Like every country is independent. So all depends where we're shipping predominantly right now, US and Canada.
It's good to know. And so now there is one question before we part. I mean, you have a mission to help 1 million people. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
So we've got a mission to feed and empower over 1 million people on their holistic health journey, and that's what we're doing with scaling our business. I've also got a mission right now to onboard over 1,000 distributors and actually help them generate in excess of $100,000 a year, and they get to choose how frequently they want their $100,000. Like if they want $100,000 a month, $100,000 a week, because right now it's just numbers. So I realize that if I turn my entire company into a co-op because I have nobody to leave my business to. I have no family, no kids. So the reality is why, like, when you're sitting there going, then why the hell am I getting up and fighting the fight every day? I can go sit on my land. I can go enjoy the creek. I can go ride my bikes. I can go enjoy life. I'm like, well, what about just making a difference and going, hey, I can impact 1 million people. We can build a community that impacts 1 million people on their holistic health every year. That's worth getting out of bed. That's worth doing something because you're creating a movement. So that's what our company is about. Our company is literally setting up the entire company to be a full co-op. So literally all the profits will get shared between the distributors we activate. And I'm applying some old school business models to growing our company and sharing the wealth amongst the people involved, which is a little bit of a different philosophy because like to me it's just like okay, money can is a facilitator but it shouldn't be the only be all and end all because you're not going to take it with you. And but creating that impact legacy, I think, is way more valuable than the fancy houses on the beach and the private jet and the flashy crap. Like we want connection. We want to, and that's what our company is standing for. All power, no filler is literally what the mission of our company is. And how do we help people thrive, typically at some of the toughest moments of their life?
Well, Ben, I am smiling because I always love to hear when people are givers and they want to make a difference in this world, and not just for themselves, but because I mean, yes, you can be successful for yourself. That's great, but it's even better success when you actually, share some of that success with other people and give an opportunity to others to get a piece of that pie in this world. And again, you talked about legacy. Legacy is a big term, and the people that understand what a legacy is, I think there's no comparison to them because they do understand that this world, as you said, none of it is taken with us when we depart, but what we leave behind in good work is what actually stays, and actually our legacy is remains behind us, which is priceless. So again, another kudos, and I commend you for that as well. I mean, it's just a win-win, that yeah, just a win-win formula that you have there, man. So I thank you so much, man, for spending the hour, for sharing your value, your products and stuff like that with the audiences here. Anything you want to leave our audiences with today?
No, just like open your mind to trying some of these new things. And it's okay to go, that one didn't work for me. I'm going to try another version of this. Just because you tried one and it wasn't successful doesn't mean it doesn't work. Find the right one for you and it can transform your life.
Well, thank you, Ben. Just one question. So let's say, is that a monthly supplement? How does that work in terms of, I guess dosage if we buy, a couple of bottles of one for 30 days? I mean, most of these things are coming with 30, 60 days, just for someone that may be wondering right now.
Yeah, so we actually have a 30-day supply in every single one of our bottles. People like to take it daily. When they're taking it, they're loving it. Do you need to take it every day? No. Sometimes you may double or triple up. But yeah, that's why most people put it on a subscription. They save. They have their bottle getting shipped to them every 28 days, and yeah, they feel the difference. This is what we're talking about.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you because having a subscription model is awesome because especially for something like this that is continuously assisting you, helping you. You don't have to go crazy. You just put yourself on cruise control and you just get your product on time, and you don't miss a day and a gap. So thank you so much for clarifying that. All right, well, folks, this is the end of the show. Hope you learned quite a bit here. Do check out the website on the description of the show. Do connect with Ben and team, and yeah, listen. Your health is your wealth. Let's make it work. Something. That's it. I'm Hurricane H. We'll be talking soon. New day in the show. New topic. Bye for now.